The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 10. The Enforcers. Okay, if you've read this far, we figure you're hooked. There's no turning back now, so hold on to your hats. Here goes one of the most exciting super adventures you've ever read.
Everything's all set, boss. Good. Spider-Man was seen heading this way. He should arrive within seconds. Start Operation High Lift right now.
At a signal from the mysterious masked man, a professional burglar cautiously climbs toward the end of a long flagpole.
Hey, come back with those jewels. You haven't a chance out there. I wouldn't make book on that if I were you. The big man planned this caper, and he never fails.
At that moment, the world's most dramatic superhero witnesses the strange scene, and then...
If that Joker's trying to escape from the police, he's doing it the hard way. I better grab him before he falls and... Hey, what's going on?
It worked. Spider-Man never suspected I had a cable wrapped around me. We caught Spider-Man flat-footed, boss, just like he said.
Naturally, that's why I'm the big man. Haul him in, fast. Don't know what it's all about, but nobody makes a sap out of me. I'll swing around this flagpole in my web to get up some steam, and then I'll get him before he can escape in that hidden whirlybird.
But before Spider-Man can attach himself to the hovering helicopter, an unexpected blast of blinding chemical foam meets him head-on.
Oof, they were prepared for my clumsy attack.
The Chagrined Crusader corrects his fall by quickly fashioning a crude parachute out of his amazing wood, as he bitterly thinks.
I sure won't win any medals for that dumbhead way I muffed that job.
And down below, the watching crowd seems to share Spider-Man's sentiments.
Boy, he sure goofed that one. Some superhero he is, he's just a big clown.
The guy in the flagpole got away scot-free.
And high above, in the helicopter.
Within minutes, the news will be out, and the entire city will know how we made a fool of Spider-Man. Now, head for the hideout.
A short time later, the big man enters a smoke-filled room.
It's about time you got here.
We've got our own gangs to take care of. We're not used to waiting for anyone. Silence. I called this meeting to inform you that I'm taking over all the rackets in the city. From now on, the big man is head of the crime syndicate. I'm going to run this little enterprise like a big business. As boss of our organization, I'll give all the orders, and my enforcers here will make sure that my orders are carried out. Any questions?
Look, man, you're not talking to kids.
Nobody's gonna tell me what to do. I'm cutting out.
That's for me, too.
I beg to differ, gentlemen. Enforcers change their minds. First, let me present Fancy Dan. Though small, his footwork is so fast and dazzling that no one can lay a hand on him while he performs his little odd jobs for me, such as this. If you're wondering how such a little man can be so dangerous, you may be interested in knowing that Fancy Dan is a master of judo and entitled to wear the coveted black belt. Next, I'd like you to meet the Ox. Though he is slow and ponderous, your puny blows have no effect on him, and anyone who dares to incur his wrath rarely remains conscious long enough to worry about it. Finally, my third enforcer has his own method of dealing with our enemies. Show them, Montana. In the hands of an expert like Montana, his lasso resembles a living thing completely obedient to its master's will. You all know how I outsmarted Spider-Man earlier today, and you have seen what happens to anyone foolish enough to resist me, or my enforcers. Our meeting is now adjourned. You will receive further orders from me very soon. Under my leadership, aided by my enforcers, we have a glorious future ahead of us.
Our scene now changes to the Forest Hills Hospital, where Peter Parker, about to visit Aunt May, who is recovering from an operation, runs into two classmates.
Flash and Liz, what are you doing here?
We heard about your aunt's illness, Peter, and came to visit her.
It was Liz's idea, Sonny. She dragged me along for company.
Or Flash, he's so afraid I might find out that he's really got a heart somewhere under that thick skin.
Your aunt is doing as well as can be expected, son, after her operation. But she does need a blood transfusion.
What is your blood type? A transfusion? I don't dare give my blood. I gained my spider strength because of the bite from a radioactive spider. It affected my blood, but no one must ever know that. I don't think I can do it, Doc.
Peter, it's your own aunt.
What's the matter? Scared of the big bad needle?
Liz is right. I must do it, no matter what. I can't fail Aunt May. Lucky for me, my blood checked out okay. The tests didn't reveal my super qualities. Just lie there and relax, son. This will give your aunt the strength she needs. If my strength comes from my blood, which was affected by the spider's bite, how will this transfusion affect me? I'll probably be somewhat weakened for a while until the blood cells can rebuild themselves.
And then...
That's it, Peter. Take it easy for a few days until you get back to normal. Sure, Doc, I will. Hope I won't be needed as Spider-Man for a while. Oh well, the main thing is that Aunt May is getting better.
Finally.
Thanks to you, Peter dear, the doctor says I can leave here shortly.
That's great, Aunt May. The Abbotts next door want you to join them for a week on a trip to Florida. It'll be just what you need.
How wonderful, they're such warm-hearted people, but who will look after you, Peter?
I'll be okay, Aunt May. I'll keep busy with my schoolwork and chores.
Thus, a short time later.
Take care of yourself, Peter dear. Wear your rubbers in the rain and be sure to dress warm enough. I put your nose drops in the medicine chest and...
Sure, Aunt May. Just get lots of sun and don't worry about me. We'll take good care of her, Pete.
But as Peter's aunt heads south, the new crime wave begins to erupt in the city. Under the leadership of the mysterious Big Man, a well-organized and powerful network of underworld mobs seem to strike everywhere at once. Pooling their financial resources, the city's criminals spare no expense in battling law and order.
It's unbelievable. They're lifting the entire mail car into the air by means of 3 helicopters. No one seems to know where or how they'll strike next.
And any underworld figures who refuse to accept the leadership of the Big Man are soon shown the error of their ways by his powerful team of enforcers.
So you don't want to take orders from the Big Man, eh?
Get out of the way, Fancy Dan. I'll handle them.
Wait your turn, Ox. Old Montana has a few rope tricks to try out. The enforcers, stay back. We'll join ya. We'll join.
Patiently, Spider-Man roams the city by night, searching for some clue, some trace of the Big Man's true identity, but his quest seems hopeless.
The police are doing a great job, working night and day. That's the 5th bunch of mobsters they've grabbed today, but they're all afraid to talk. They're terrified of the Big Man and his enforcers.
And though there are countless examples of brilliant police work, far too many to describe on these pages, it seems to be only the small fry who are captured, while the crime syndicate higher-ups remain in the shadows.
Reach, you two. We've got you dead to rights this time.
Don't shoot, Blue Coat. We'll go peacefully.
Sure,
Especially since the Big Man will bail us out by morning.
And there is still the other who also roams the streets searching endlessly for news. It is J. Jonah Jameson, the hard-headed publisher of the Daily Bugle and Go magazine.
Another arrest, I say, but it's a waste of time bringing in such small fish. Spider-Man is the other one you should be going after. He must be mixed up in all of this somehow. Look, Mr. Jameson, why don't you forget your personal feud with Spider-Man and use the power of the paper to help us nab the Big Man? Ask your readers to report anything suspicious. Nonsense, there's no Big Man. Nobody's ever seen him and told about it. Spider-Man invented such a character to throw everyone off the track.
In his plush office the next day in the Daily Bugle building, a determined J. Jonah Jameson sends for one of his most capable columnists.
Oswell, I want you to write a series of articles which will prove that the Big Man is none other than Spider-Man himself.
But we haven't any proof, Mr. Jameson. The police don't even yet know who he is. And if you go out on a limb the way you did last month when you claimed he was Electro, and if you turn out wrong again, people will lose confidence in our paper.
Quiet, I'll do the talking. I'm still running this paper, Foswell, now. Do as I say or I'll fire you, and see to it that no paper ever hires you again.
I'll do it, Mr. Jameson. I've gotten into the habit of eating 3 squares a day. I guess you heard that, Betty. Boy, does he hate Spider-Man.
I know. I have to listen to him all day long. I'm glad it's quitting time now, Foswell.
And as Betty Brett leaves the Bugle building and waits out front.
I wonder if Peter will be passing by as he sometimes does.
That's her, you guys. That's Betty Brant. Well, what are we waiting for? You know who we are, sister. Where's the rest of the money you owe?
But I've already paid off the whole loan.
Sure, but you forgot the interest. The big man doubled it since yesterday.
No, he can't do that. It's not fair.
Lady, when the big man took over every racket in town, including the loan shark racket, he didn't do it for his health. Now, I warn you. Hey, what's going on here?
Peter, keep out of this. Go away. They're dangerous.
Betty, you're scared. If they're bothering you... Well, so the gal has a boyfriend, huh? That's real nice for us. We're too gentlemanly to threaten a female, but the ox is gonna show you what'll happen to that squirt if you don't pay up. Lean on him a little, ox.
No, don't hurt him. I'll get the money somehow.
Lucky for you, she said that, Sonny. Let him go, ox. If only I could turn into Spider-Man now, but it would give my secret identity away.
As the enforcers leave, Ox releases Peter with a shove that sends him sprawling, and then...
Those rats! They're not getting away with that.
No, Peter, you don't know what you're saying. You're no match for them. They're the enforcers.
The enforcers, eh? I've heard of them, but how did you get involved?
I'm afraid to tell him the truth. If he knows I foolishly borrowed money from a loan shark, he'll try to help me, and he'll end up getting hurt. Or worse, I'm not involved, Peter. It was just a case of mistaken identity. That's all?
Betty, you're not telling me the truth. Wait, why won't you level with me? Betty!
I can't do it. I can't let the dearest, most wonderful boy I've ever known get mixed up with the enforcers because of me.
I must have been wrong about her. She can't care for me if she won't confide in me.
Deeply hurt, unable to understand the motives of the girl he loves, Peter Parker changes to Spider-Man within seconds, as his lean, powerful muscles ache for battle.
As Peter Parker, I was just a helpless, confused school kid. But as Spider-Man, things are going to be a lot different as soon as I track down the enforcers. There's the punk who pointed out Betty to them. Hold it, you weasel, I want to talk to you. Huh? If you know the enforcers, you probably know where I can find them. Now talk. Oh no, they'd kill me. You don't know them. They fear no one because the big man is behind them. He's terrified. He trembled at the very mention of the name of the enforcers. Only one thing to do. I've got to make him fear Spider-Man even more. I'll just blindfold you with some webbing, and then...
Minutes later, after the blindfold has been removed.
This won't do you any good, Spider-Man. I don't scare easy, and... Hey! You are in my spider's web now. Will you talk, or won't you? That thing behind you, don't let it come any closer, please. He doesn't know I couldn't if I wanted it to. It's only a dummy made of leftover webbing. You could find the enforcers at 15 Oak Street, but keep away from me.
Exactly 5 seconds later.
Now to give the enforcers a little workout, and hope they'll lead me to the big man himself. If this is the place, I'll just... Hey, what? I've been lassoed like a runaway steer, being pulled into that window. Good work, Montana. Now, get rid of Spider-Man once and for all. I can't have him trying to interfere with my plans. The big man and the enforcers. I got you all together. Correction, my friend. It is we who have you. Get him, Ox. Even a real ox couldn't get me, so no phony one is gonna do it. And you can't catch Spider-Man twice with the same rope trick, mister. A guy your size must be nuts to try to tangle with me. Hey, I missed. I never saw anyone move so fast. Don't let my size fool you, wise guy. They don't call me Fancy Dan for nothing. And they don't call me Spider-Man for nothing either. Fast as you are, my spider sense and spider reflexes will help me to nail you. Like this. Uh-oh, a lasso around my wrist. Pulling me off balance. I can't shift my weight in time. I can't duck this... Ow! I've been waiting to land a haymaker on Spider-Man.
But what might a haymaker to anyone else just angers Spider-Man enough to spur him to still more dazzling feats, such as...
Look out, he flipped backwards through the rope. He's strong and swift, but it's still 3 against 1, and when a guy as fast as Fancy Dan is also a judo expert, what chance can Spider-Man have? Stop flapping your lips and keep fighting. He's a long way from being licked yet. You said a mouthful, Cuddles.
But there's a limit to anyone's endurance, even one as amazing as Spider-Man.
Getting weak. Doctor told me to take it easy for a while. My body hasn't yet replenished the spider blood cells which I lost in transfusion. Hate to have him think I'm running out on a fight, but I've gotta cut out while I still can. First thing to do is get rid of the light. Where'd he go? With the aid of my spider sense, it's a breeze for me to find my way out of the dark, but I'd sure like to know where the big man ducked out to during the fight.
Minutes later, as the exhausted teenager hides in the shadows, catching his breath, he sees...
It's Jonah Jameson. What's he doing here? I wonder. The big man would have to be someone smart, someone with money, someone who knows what's going on. But I can't believe that Jonah himself...
Puzzled, Spider-Man changes to Peter Parker, returns home, and makes a phone call.
Betty should be home by now. I'll call and ask her if she knows why Jonah would have been in that neighborhood. She's not answering the phone. I hope nothing's wrong.
And at the other side of town, in Betty Brandt's apartment.
It must be Peter. If I speak to him, he'll question me, and sooner or later he'll get involved with the enforcers. But if I don't answer, he'll get worried and come over in person. I'd better pick up the phone.
Betty, are you all right? I want to ask you something.
No, Peter, not now. I'll speak to you tomorrow, please. I can't let him fall into the hands of the enforcers because of me. There's only one thing to do. I've got to leave. Never see him again.
The next day, in Jonah Jameson's office.
I don't know where Betty Brandt is. She said she had to go out of town for a while. Bless the luck. Now I've got to train a new secretary.
You mean she just left with no explanation?
Look, kid, I've got my own problems, but I've still got a paper to get out.
His heart's as cold as an ice cube. He doesn't care about anyone.
As for you, I don't keep you around because I like your looks. You're paid to get pictures, so go get some. And tell Foswell I'm waiting for his new column on Spider-Man.
Seconds later, in Frederick Foswell's office.
Mr. Foswell, you don't really believe that jazz you write about Spider-Man being the big man, do you? Look, son, I write what Jameson tells me to. He's the boss here. I'd say that Peter Rabbit was the big man if he told me to. You don't work on this newspaper and argue with the old prune face. I guess you're right. But it sure seems unfair. Why is Jameson so anxious to put suspicion on Spider-Man? And what was he doing in the neighborhood where the enforcers were? Can JJ himself be leading a double life? Betty's run out on me. For some reason I can't figure out. The big man is getting a tighter grip at all the rackets in the city because the average man is too scared of the enforcers to report them to the police or to defy them. And here I sit wondering what to do next. Some hotshot superhero I am. As Spider-Man, I might be able to smash the crime syndicate if I could find their main headquarters and learn who the big man really is. Nuts. They're not going to send Spider-Man an invitation to come and visit them. But Peter Parker might be able to get himself captured by them. It's dangerous, but it's the only way.
And so, at school the next day, Pete puts his perilous plan into operation.
You mean to say that you figured out who the big man is when nobody else has any idea? You're nuts, Parker.
Yeah, well, you'll sing a different tune when I tell my theory to the police and get a big fat reward for helping nab him.
Maybe old bookworm Parker did figure out the big man's identity. He's a whiz on the puzzles and stuff like that. If you ask me, Puny Parker's just showing off, like he always tries to do.
Psst, Pete, come here. I want to talk to you. Flash, what are you hiding around corners for?
Keep your voice down and listen, you nut. Haven't you more sense than to go around yapping about how you're gonna blow the whistle on the big man? Your life won't be worth a nickel if the enforcers find out.
Thanks for the warning, fella. I didn't know you cared.
But Flash's warning has come too late, for news travels fast, especially news about the big man.
So, the Parker kid knows who the big man is, huh? The enforcers ought to pay plenty for that tip.
And within minutes...
That's right, boss. This kid Parker's telling everyone that he knows who you are. And he's going to the police with the information.
Peter Parker? How did he find out?
You mean you know him, boss?
Of course I know him. I don't stand here asking fool questions. Go get him.
And at the police headquarters...
We just got a call from Spider-Man. Says we should be on the alert tonight for a signal from him. He's going after the enforcers.
Better alert all the units. There must be something cooking.
Later, as Peter wanders through the loneliest parts of the city.
Into the car, Big Mouth. You're going for a little ride.
My plan worked. I've just got to hope that they take me to the big man before trying to silence me.
So, you know who the big man is, eh? Well, wise guy, he knows you, and he wants to have a little visit with you. The big man knows me. Can it be that my hunch was right about J. Jonah Jameson? But it can't be. I know he's selfish, stingy, and hot-tempered. He's jealous of Spider-Man and of anyone who's more glamorous than he is. But why should he turn to crime?
Finally, the enforcer's car reaches a large indoor auto parking building.
Here we are, Bright Eyes. No harm showing you our headquarters. It's the last thing you're ever gonna see. Inside, Junior, until the big man sends for you. Well, this is what I wanted. I just hope I didn't bite off a lot more than I can chew.
Alone in the room, Peter strips off his outer clothes, and then...
Peter Parker could never reach that air vent in the ceiling, but for Spider-Man, it'll be a breeze. Come on, Spider Strength, just a little more oomph now. Ah, I'm getting it.
And just on the other side of the wall.
The racket bosses in the city are here for this week's new orders, boss. Good. The police are beginning to catch too many of our underlings, so I have some plans for new precautions for us to take. Wow, I've stumbled onto something big. Every top mobster in the city seems to be down there. Too many for even Spider-Man to handle. I'd better alert the police. What's the matter with me? I was so intent on what I saw that I didn't heed the silent tingle of my spider sense. Big man, up here. I just caught a spy. Spider-Man. After him, all of you. He must not escape. Get him. Don't be such an eager beaver, big man. I'm not going anywhere. No need to rush, boys. Take your time. I'll see that you all get what's coming to you. Too many gathering around me. They'll pull me down by sheer weight of numbers. I'm getting bored, group. How about a change of scene? Here we go. Say, I've always wanted to drive one of these sporty jobs. Hold it, boys. I'm making this trip solo. Attaboy, Ox. Grab the bumper. Now lift. Higher. Good.
That little man ain't going anywhere if I can help it. Nobody's stronger than the ox.
Oh well, I prefer a 4-speed gearbox anyway. Nice try, playmates. I'll give you an A for effort. I wish I felt as confident as I'm trying to sound. I've got to find a way out of this place. Uh-oh, the big man's trying to slow me down by rolling oil drums down the ramp at me.
I stopped him for you, you clumsy oafs. Now get him.
Much obliged, big man. These drums are just what I needed. My spider ability can keep me balanced well enough to ride one of them right through your bully boys.
Your overconfidence will be your undoing, Spider-Man. Lasso him, Montana.
I hear you talking, boss. Uh-oh, I forgot about him. I've got to move fast. This ought to make him drop that lariat. He flipped mid-air, shoved that drum towards me. It's going to hit me. So far so good, but I've got to use my web fluid carefully. They're not going to stop to give me some time to reload.
Each of you grab a tire, throw it.
Phew, they don't let up for a second.
Give me those tires, I'll show you how to stop that little runt.
But even the powerful Ox is thwarted by Spider-Man's amazing agility.
My reflexes help me to dodge these things with ease, and when I can't get around them, I can always zip through them.
Pretty tricky, masked man, but now let's see how good you are on an oily, greased floor.
According to the latest superhero manual, the well-trained costumed crime fighter turns every obstacle into an advantage. See what I mean? He's sliding on the floor, like an ice skater. Look out! You can't dodge us forever. Rush 'em from all sides, guys. He's right, I can't dodge them forever, but I'm sure gonna go down trying.
We've got him now.
You cherubs are made for each other. So far be it from me to keep you apart.
But before Spider-Man can regain his footing, the fast-moving Fancy Dan strikes again with a skillful judo attack.
Oof. I figure that when you're down enough, now I'll finish you off. A judo-trained little man's always more than a match for a guy twice his size, even when the guy is Spider-Man. Remember those words, little friend. You're gonna start regretting them real soon. I admire your enthusiasm, Fancy Dan, but you seem to have forgotten how a spider can stick to a wall and then reverse himself, like this. Now you just stay up there and rest for a while, old chum. You've had a busy little day. Say, don't you guys ever take a lunch break or anything? You've got me working overtime. My heart's pounding like a trip hammer. I've got to get some rest soon. If only I could think of a way to signal the police.
Then, as he skillfully keeps one step ahead of his pursuers.
I've got it. I'll remove my spider light signal from my belt. And then I'll turn it on and attach it to the tip of my web shooter. And away we go. Bullseye. The spider signal. I've got to call headquarters.
And then, within 30 seconds, the sound of blaring sirens fills the night air in the Spring City.
It's the Acme garage. Give her the gas.
While within the structure, the fateful battle continues.
Keep after him. He's tiring. He's only human. You're wearing him down.
Relax, big man. They're doing okay without a cheerleader.
But suddenly, an ear-piercing wail is heard from outside.
The police!
And not a minute too soon. They won't get here in time to save ya. Blasted, if you only didn't move so fast. Now you're not gonna begrudge me my few little talents, are you? Okay now, big man, the party's over. I counted those shots and your gun's empty. So now it's man to man. Sorry, Spider-Man, I don't fight by your rules. I know when to make my exit. Now I know I'm tired. Any other time I could have caught him before he got halfway to that door. Boy, leave it to the police. It doesn't take them long to go into action. They've rounded up the enforcers and all the other hoods. Too bad the big man slipped through my fingers. But maybe I can still track him down. If he's the one I think he is, it's gonna be a real pleasure to bring him in.
A short time later, a roused J. Jonah Jameson rushes into the Daily Bugle building.
What a miserable week this has been. Everything is going wrong. I still haven't been able to definitely prove that Spider-Man is the mass leader of the city's crime syndicate. But I've got to. I'm too far out on a limb to turn back.
Look how nervous he is. I knew I was right. He's worried sick about his crime ring being broken up. Well, I'll give him still more to worry about, and... Uh-oh, someone's coming.
Mr. Jameson?
What is it?
I've got the proofs of the new column about Spider-Man. I thought you'd like to see it.
Tear it up. I need more than a column now. I need proof that Spider-Man is the big man.
Why? What's happened?
You fool, haven't you heard the radio news bulletins? The enforcers have been captured. The crime syndicate is broken up. Only the big man has escaped, and the police are apt to find him before too long.
We found him already, Jameson.
Huh? That cinches it. The high and mighty J. Jonah Jameson is the big man himself. Although, in a way, I feel sorry. I never thought he was really bad.
Don't try to sneak out of here, Foswell. We have the place surrounded. You might as well come along, peacefully.
Foswell? Frederick Foswell? But I thought it was Jonah. How can little Foswell be the big man?
We found all the evidence we needed in your car, which we saw speeding away from the garage.
Pretty clever, Foswell, using special built-up shoes, an oversized padded jacket, and a small amplifier to disguise your voice.
I'd have gotten away with it too, if not for some crummy luck.
He admits it. It is Foswell. I never even suspected. Some big brain I am. I not only have the proportionate strength of a spider, but I'm just about as dumb, too.
As for J. Jonah Jameson, that estimable citizen just never gives up.
Even though you're the big man, Spider-Man was in league with you, wasn't he? Admit it. If he wasn't, I'll be a laughingstock again.
Bah, I'll worry about it all the way to the jail.
Later, after his office is emptied out.
Am I always to be thwarted, embarrassed, frustrated by Spider-Man? I hate that costume freak more than I've ever hated anyone before. I'll never be contented while he's free. All my life I've been interested in only one thing, making money. And yet Spider-Man risks his life day after day with no thought of reward. If a man like him is good, is a hero, then what am I? I can never respect myself while he lives. Spider-Man represents everything that I'm not. He's brave, powerful, and unselfish. The truth is, I envy him. I, J. Jonah Jameson, millionaire man of the world, civic leader, I'd give everything I own to be the man that he is. But I can never climb to his level, so all that remains for me is to try to tear him down, because, heaven help me, I'm jealous of him.
And at the other side of town, as Spider-Man reaches his home.
Here's a letter from Aunt May. She's having a fine time in Florida, but nothing from Betty, not even a card. What if she never gets in touch with me? If I ever hear from her again, it may be just what she wants. Perhaps she doesn't care for me, and she wants to make a clean break. No, I can't believe it. I won't. It's something else. She's in trouble or worried. If only I knew what the matter was. If only she'd let me help her.
And at that moment, in a small town in Pennsylvania, Betty Brant sits alone in a locked hotel room, weeping silently to herself.
Life is so meaningless, so empty without Peter. He's all I had, all I ever wanted, and yet I can't turn to him now. I've got to see this through alone. I can't risk the life of the boy I love. No one else can help me, except someone like Spider-Man, but what chance would I ever have of receiving aid from Hen?
And so, we leave our friends dangling in a web far more powerful than any which Spider-Man can weave, the mysterious dramatic web of fate. Next issue, we'll meet a great new villain, find more spectacular thrills, as Spider-Man discovers the strange secrets of Betty Brant. The end for now.
Well, guys, that was the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 10. We got a new group of villains introduced called the Enforcers, and we can see that Betty Brant is entangled in something that's perhaps deeper than just loan sharks, but we'll have to wait and see in a future issue. And things seem to be strained between Betty and Peter at the moment, but I wonder if they'll ever get better. But nonetheless, guys, if you guys like this series and want to see it continue, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.